I would like to talk to you about INFUSE, Innovative Future Services. Just before I do, I'm going to talk to the micro mission that Kevin set out earlier, the approach that Ravi, that Adrian, Alistair, and our examples have outlined today. I have a phenomenal job with Cardiff Capital Region where I get to invest in public sector innovation. And by that I mean truly define some of the most wicked societal challenges and organisational challenges facing our communities and design and deliver interventions to make a difference. Importantly, public sector innovation for us requires a cross-sector approach. And I think you've heard one example. There is another incredible example coming up in a minute. But perhaps I'll touch on why, how we've approached it, and I'll give you an example to INFUSE. It's been mentioned a few times today, but just to give you an example why we're here. Cardiff Capital Region as an organisation is all about driving growth. We're responsible for economic well-being for that kind of southeast area of Wales. We spent some time really looking within as an organisation. If you consider we came from a city deal, similar to how Alistair, where jobs, leverage, growth were our focus, we question, is that enough? What's our social responsibility? How do we really create value for our communities? I think Challenge Fund and the way that has been approached has definitely done that. But another for us is INFUSE. So we set out to build the skills, capacity and confidence for innovation. There are a number of alumni members in the room today. You've just heard from Phil in terms of how some small interventions, some learning and applied practice has made a difference across our region. So hundreds of public servants we've worked with over a 6-month period where we focused on a few of what we felt were development areas. So innovation, skills, tools, methods and mindsets, data-enabled decision-making, strategic and sustainable procurement. In front of you and at the desk by Carla, there are some handbooks. This was one of the outputs from the first iteration of the programme. What we've got are real-world examples of some of the most impactful tools. And you will notice a lot of influence if you consider Ravi's input this morning. Nesta and Cardiff University were delivery partners there. I'm just going to touch on the current iteration of INFUSE, how we, I suppose iteration is the best word. So this is the 5th time that we've approached what we are very proud of in terms of an innovation methodology and set of tools. We want to grow leaders that are confident in innovating within public, private and third sectors. So we started with public sector leadership, but now we're absolutely cross-sector, and some of the non-paid associate experts are within the room today that have really got behind us, I suppose. So for the second iteration of INFUSE, we chose, in a similar way to the mission-led approach, we spent some time truly defining the problem. So what you see on the screen in front of you at the top there, it's a challenge I would imagine most, if not all, organisations in here will face. How do we offer a just transition to net zero transportation? And what we've done is we've worked with, interestingly, a team that previously sat within Nesta, who designed and delivered the methodology previously. We now also work with them in an organisation called PPL, a socially responsible consultancy. We've worked over 6 months. On Tuesday in Sophia Gardens, they pitched 8 innovation experiments that they've been working on to a room of local, national funders, to associate advisors, some of which are in the room today representing technical experience from the private sector, strategic responsibility across the public sector, And this moves across our experimentation areas, from policy to infrastructure to energy to the procurement of vehicles. And what we've got, I've used the term proud before because I genuinely am, the response from that cross-sector group to, I suppose, coalescing around the experimentation and prototyping, as Phil mentioned. I think that's where the magic is. And Mr. Ashleford won't thank me for this, but Rob Ashleford, who heads up Nesta Cymru, taught us something really, really important on day one. And this was a response to some public sector leaders that perhaps sit in this room. They said, we will invest in INFUSE, we will invest in our time because we want to see change, but you must ensure that the learning is applied directly to the things that matter to us most. And that's where we've come across experimentation. As Phil articulated, as did Ravi, is fast, is sharp, is fleet-footed, and it has allowed us to stop doing some of the things that we thought may be a positive solution, backed by evidence and data. The clicker's got me too. I think many of us here today are accountable to different bodies, to different layers of our kind of governance and government. So what I just wanted to provide you with is the current iteration of INFUSE as we explore what a micro mission looks like to us, and we learn from the likes of Nesta, from Belfast, from others. Vinnova in Sweden, Kevin, is one that has offered us some advice in terms of a mission-led approach and what that looks like. So you can see that we're looking at financial impact, we're looking at speed of growth, market access and partnerships, impact on our innovation ecosystem, experience and skills of the individuals on the programme, because we hear and see that growth. Certainly on Tuesday, it was absolutely evident. And then, importantly, impact against our challenge. I think I'll touch on this a little bit later. But from a Cardiff Capital Region perspective, we've made a clear commitment to a mission-led approach across our region. We see the value in it, but we want to do that together. So I think my ask from today would be, if you're interested, if your organisation is looking at a mission-led approach for the future, can we talk? Because at the moment, what we are doing is looking at the architecture that we need before defining and choosing collaboratively with a significant amount of engagement the right missions for us, for our region. There is influence, clearly, from national and Welsh Government. But what we've seen through the Challenge Fund, through INFUSE, is that when you bring discipline, when you bring innovation tools, you bring support, coaching, mentorship, and you bring a cross-sector approach, some pretty magical things can happen. And by that, I mean disruptive, positive, and aspirational change for the future. And for us, this is, for Cardiff Capital Region, I should say, this is our future.